Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. This is Pushan again and you guys are watching PenguinGraphy. So this tutorial is very unnecessary kind of tutorial, I guess. This is Pushan in this again video and you guys are watching one technique that I personally love to follow on top of very unnecessary kind of tutorial, I guess. This is Pushan in this video and you guys are watching one technique that I personally love to follow on top of very unnecessary kind of tutorial, all of my paintings in this video and you guys. Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. This is Pushan again and you guys are watching PenguinGraphy. So this tutorial is very unnecessary kind of tutorial, I guess. One technique that I'll be showing you one technique that I personally love to follow on top of I guess each of my paintings. In all of my paintings, you guys mostly see that at the very end I tend to use some sort of gradient. Alright, these kind of gradients I guess you can see on my videos, in all the painting videos actually. So why do I use that and what difference it creates? Today I'm going to show it. Before jumping into the gradient part or the last part of our video, I'll be painting something beautiful, I guess, because I have never done some sort of live painting in front of you guys or any painting tutorial where I'm giving voiceover about all the things that I'm doing. So I use a very simple kind of graphics tablet, which is a Parblo tablet. I forgot the model, I guess it's A2640. And what I'm gonna do is first just fill my paint layer 1 with some sort of color. I guess this one, yeah, it looks nice, or maybe a lighter shade. Okay, so I'm not going to do any kind of complex thing today. What I'm going to do is just basic hill or some fields and some trees, that's it. So this is my paint layer 1 and I want to keep my sky looking this color, so I guess a bit lighter shade will do a great thing. Now go for the another layer. I love to paint layer by layer because it keeps my all the things separated and it makes my workflow pretty easier. Now you might like to work on only 1 or 2 layers, it's up to you, but I personally prefer to do this. So my first thing would be drawing some sort of hills at first. Why not? Now alright, many of you who are using Krita might wonder that why there are so many brushes. First of all, these are very confusing. There are brushes that I haven't even used for even once, okay? So I know it's very confusing and it's very hard to find one specific brush which I'm going to use for my next step or next layer. So yeah, I also find that really tough. I upload speed art, so it doesn't really matter. I just speed up the video and it saves a lot of time. So the first thing that we're going to do is draw some sort of hill. Now sorry, my phone, I guess the alarm will start. Okay, turn that off. So the first thing that we're gonna do is bring up our basic brush, okay, the basic 5 I guess it's called. And now the next thing is here's my stabilizer on. I personally love to use this stabilizer, but for this step it's not that necessary. So I'm just gonna draw anything, okay, just draw anything like that. Also it should be a bit downwards, okay. I guess this position is fine. Go to our brush again and simply draw anything that you want. Just don't worry about the shape, we'll fix that later on. Okay, I have drawn something and I'm happy with the shape now. Okay, alright, so I'm happy with the shape. It really doesn't matter, the lower portion will be hidden by something else later on. Now bring up your fill tool and just fill it, okay. And there are a few blank areas, just fill them with your brush, doesn't matter. So here you can see that this area is very much high compared to these areas, okay. This area should be higher, I guess, and this area should be a bit higher. Okay, so I'm just drawing a basic shape of my hill right now because I'm not going to keep it like that. Now go for some other brush, bring your brush and then select any of the brush that will give a very bushy kind of look, or it will give some sort of leaves or hilly kind of look, okay. So I guess this one is fine, let's just try it. So before going for any kind of brush, I prefer to use them and find the original shape or the rotation or the scales, what kind of scattering they're going to use. So I love to do these kind of things before selecting any brush. So this is why it might take a bit more time. Also turn off the pressure over here and make the size smaller. I'm simply just going to make it a bit smaller. Okay, and you see that I'm painting like this so that it gets a very bushy kind of look, like the hills have. Now just keep painting like this, and you see the edges are becoming really beautiful and very natural. Okay, it seems like there are some sort of field behind, and they have trees on top of them. Okay, so it has a very natural kind of look. Now this area was looking pretty artificial, so I'm also mixing the things up over here so we can do it. This video is not going to be a fast forward one because I'm going to show you how my painting flow works and how I do the painting. I usually upload the speed arts. My paintings may take up to 1.5 hours from 30 minutes. The lowest time one of my paintings took was 28 minutes, and sometimes I draw very small paintings within a very less time. Sometimes I draw small paintings within 2 hours or 1.5 hours. So yeah, it depends on the details basically. The amount of time the painting will take is all about the details, I believe. What kind of details you are going to put inside of your painting. For me, the simpler, the more beautiful the painting. For me, actually, I love to keep my painting simple, so it looks really nice right now. Now go for another layer on top of it. Now you can use fields under the heel area, but I'm going to hide this portion because this will look pretty artificial if I keep that like this. Okay, so I'm going for my paint layer 3 and select any of the color, any of the field color that you want. I guess this color is pretty fine. Now go for your brush and select the basic 5 brush again. Okay, and select any of the color that you want. A pretty darker one for this area I guess would be fine. And just draw it like this. Okay, let's check whether it's recording or not, because sometimes my painting keeps going on but the recorder is not turned on. So yeah, I usually have to do those paintings again. Now go for another layer on top of it and bring a lighter shade than this one. I guess this color is fine, doesn't matter, you can change it later on. Next step would be our paint layer 5 and a bit lighter shade than this one. Yes, like this, it looks pretty fine. Okay, sorry, I did something wrong. Okay, now this area doesn't look that great, so I need to fix it like this. Sorry. Okay, you know, the original paintings, they take a lot of time, but when I upload them, they are fast forwarded, so it doesn't really matter. A pretty lighter shade than this one, just select them for paint layer 6. Go for your brush tool and paint it like this. Alright, so this painting, like I told you, is going to be very simple. Now this area is looking pretty uneven, unrealistic, so go for this layer, select this color by hitting on Control and click on it. It works like an eyedropper. Now you can do it like this, simply paint it like this. Alright, go for your fill tool and fill these areas. So now it looks pretty even kind of thing. Okay, now go for another layer, hit on this plus sign, paint layer 7, and we are going to use some sort of sun ray or anything. Go for any other brush that I have on the stock. If you guys want my brushes, Many of you might be wondering that how did I get all these brushes. Now these are free, okay? Many are created by me, not the brushes actually. Many patterns are created by me over here, and there are brushes which I have downloaded, most of them from my browser and from different websites. There are free Krita brushes you can search on Google, and you will eventually find all these are pretty similar kind of brushes. You can easily find them on internet, it really doesn't matter. But yes, if you want to learn how to insert the bundle packs or the brushes inside of Krita, I can create a separate tutorial on that, how to use the brushes, custom brushes, and how to create custom patterns. Yeah, I'll be doing that then. Okay, so the next thing is just select a lighter shade, suppose yellowish tone, or maybe a more off-whitish color, and just simply pick on this. Okay, just select a more lighter shade and go for another layer, and make the size, I guess the size is the highest, so it really doesn't matter. We can change that later on. Now what I'm gonna do, you see that few techniques I'll be sharing right now, you should catch them right now. Go for your upper layer, okay, upper layer, and I'll be showing a technique that if you use your Gaussian blur right now, it will give a very beautiful look. Okay, if you go closer and you see, if you increase the Gaussian blur, it gives a more vibrant and more radiant. Okay, it increases the luminance. Okay, before using the Gaussian blur, if you go closer, Control Z and undo this one, you see earlier it was like this, but if you go backwards and you see now it looks like this after using the Gaussian blur. So this is one of the techniques that I love to use, but today we'll be working on the gradients. We can use the glow technique later on, but for now I'll be using the luminance as the blending mode. Okay, and I'll be decreasing the opacity because it looks very bright. Okay, now go for your paint layer 7, increase the opacity or keep the opacity on 100 or decrease it, it's up to you. I'll be keeping that on 70, I guess. And one thing that I'm going to do is bring my soft eraser, and I'm simply just going to erase it a bit, because I don't want this rays look this much vibrant. Okay, so this looks very natural. I mean, you do not have to draw any kind of sun for this. A new layer under this one, and we'll be bringing some sort of crease. Okay, so just select a beautiful brush, for example basic 5 brush would be fine. Go for, I guess I'm going to add some sort of tree right now. Okay, some sort of tree, or I guess grass would be great. So let's see, I don't like this grass. Now what kind of grass we can select? Like I told you, I have a lot of brushes, so it takes a lot of time for me to select which one to use. Okay, it takes a lot of time. All right, I guess this one, this grass would look really nice. Increase the size. Okay, I guess turning off the pressure would be great, and select any of the color. I guess this one, it's fine. Okay, and increase the size, or maybe a bit lighter shade would be great. Okay, this looks nice, and decrease the size, increase the size. So you can use different shapes of your grass so that they look more realistic. Now increase or decrease the size for different areas, and that's how you do it. Okay, now go for another layer under the layer 5. Go for layer 4 and bring up a new layer on top of it so that it becomes the layer under paint layer 5. Now just decrease the luminance of the color and simply paint over here. I'm not going to use that much grass because they might look unrealistic sometimes. Also, too much grass might, ruin your picture. Also, it's time consuming, so I'm not going to kill much of your time. So one more layer on top of the layer 3, and I guess that's fine. Use a very small amount of grass over here. Okay, this looks really nice. Okay, so I guess this amount of grass is completely fine. Go for layer 6 and turn that off and see if the layer you selected is correct. Select a lighter shade than this one, okay, and turn off the transparency, okay, and select a beautiful brush that will contain some sort of grain. I guess this one contains grain, okay. Now the sizes should be smaller. I guess I have one more brush that gives a grainy look. I guess this one, yes, this one, I guess, yes. So I'm just going to use a very small amount of it, and I'm going to increase the size. You have to remember you should turn off the transparency and simply do it like this. You see, it might take a bit time. I don't know if it depends on the speed of your CPU or the condition of your CPU or not, but yeah, some brushes take a lot of time for creating the stroke. Now check that you have selected this layer and turn off the transparency. You can use, I guess this color is pretty bright than this one, so yeah, it's fine. Increase or decrease the size up to your taste and do it like this. So it looks very beautiful. Okay, now go for this layer, turn off the transparency and select a lighter shade like this, and simply, no, I guess I should have selected a bit darker one. This is fine, I guess. Yeah, it's fine. Also, it's a demo painting, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, no, it has to be darker. Okay, so it doesn't look that bad. Okay, so yeah, it's fine and it's done. We don't have to do anything else over here. Just simply add some sort of tree which does not have leaves, so your work becomes easier. So alright, I'll be selecting this one, I guess, this one, and select any of the brush that has a very solid kind of stroke shape. And what kind of trees would you like? Krita. I personally love Krita because, you know, the brush panel is very easy to use than Photoshop. Not saying Photoshop is bad, but yeah, Krita is definitely easygoing for me. I guess this tree will look really nice. Okay, select a dark brown color. I guess this one would be nice. Increase the size, and we can change the size later on, doesn't really matter. Okay, all right, so go for your tool, select this, and sorry, I have put this tree on a wrong layer. Okay, just create a separate layer for it, and like this. Okay, now change the shape of it like this. It should look fine over here. Okay, yeah, it's nice to see. Okay, decrease the luminance of it or increase it. I mean, it looks so nice that it has sun rays behind the tree, and you can decrease the size of the tree and go for another layer and use some sort of tree over here, but with a darker color, I guess. Okay, and then decrease the size again. Okay, so it looks funny, I guess. That's okay. Select any other tree shape if you want. I guess I'll be using this shape. Okay, and I guess I'll be choosing this shape, and I will go for this layer and simply use the tree over here. Yeah, it looks nice. Decrease the size and make it look very random. Okay, you can also change the rotation. Okay, and yeah, it looks nice, I guess. So that's it, we're almost done. Now I'm not going to complicate this painting. What I'm gonna do next is using my gradient, okay, so that you can understand what is the basic thing that I love to do. Before using the gradient, I tend to use my name tag PenguinGraphy over here, which I'm not going to use right now, so that it saves a bit more time. I mean, I've already talked about so many minutes, I don't even know the count. Okay, now go for your basic 5 brush tool and then simply go for a new blank layer, okay, for example paint layer 13, and you go for your gradient, whatever gradient you like. I'll be creating another tutorial on the gradient, what kind of gradient you can use and how to create gradient, how to edit them. They are very simple. Still, I'll be creating some sort of tutorial if you want. And I'm just selecting this gradient that I have already saved on my gradient panel. And what I'm gonna do, select the brush, make the size predefined, okay, select the gradient and simply drag it like this. For my convenience, what I love to do is I go for the overlay at first for the blending mode, and I simply just drag it like this, okay, and you see the change yourself. I mean, it looks so different, so vibrant and so sharp, okay. For example, if you just turn off the gradient, you see that it looks like there's a tree, there are sun rays, there are bushes behind the fields and all. But as soon as you create some sort of gradient on top of it, it looks very natural, okay, as if it has a very realistic kind of nature look on top of it, okay, which we painters cannot give natural, okay, as if it has a very realistic kind of nature look on top of it, okay, which we painters cannot give natural, okay, as if it has a very realistic kind of nature look on top of it, okay, which we painters cannot give natural, okay, as if it has a very realistic kind of nature look on top of it, okay, which we painters cannot give natural, okay, as if it has a very realistic kind of nature look on top of it, okay, which we painters cannot give natural, okay, as if it has a very realistic kind of nature look on top of it inside of the painting, okay, it looks very natural and very original, very self-made kind of look, okay. Now the next thing is, inside of Preta there is an issue, okay, which is sometimes your gradient might break down into different segments. So I have a separate tutorial on how to you know, solve this issue, but still I'll be doing that in front of you now. What I'm gonna do, I'm selecting my gradient layer, go for your filter and go for other and hit on this random pick. Just select the levels at 99 and size of the window should be 99 as well, and hit on OK. As soon as you do this, you see there are grains, okay, all around your paintings, okay, all around your painting. Now we need to remove this. How do you remove this? Select the transform layer and simply keep the grainy area outside, okay. Alright, so this is the technique that I always use on top of my paintings. Now you can use this simple art as a wallpaper or your cover photo, but this simple painting turned out quite nice, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you love this technique. Also, there are different kind of gradients that you can use. For example, let me use some other gradient and first make the blending mode to overlay and bring up a new layer. Select the gradient tool and go for your another gradient that you want. For example, I want it to look purple at one portion and on the other portion I want it to look yellowish. So select this one and simply drag it like this, okay. So you see it gives such beautiful look, but I have already used another gradient underneath, so turn that off and you see if you use only this gradient, it also looks really nice. This portion does not have much sunlight, this portion has a lot of sunlight, so it is looking yellow. On the other hand, this portion is looking a bit purplish or bluish, okay, because it has a darker tone over here, and in the middle portion it has an orangish kind of look. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you like my paintings and my tutorials, then kindly subscribe my channel, share my videos with your friends. Have a nice day everyone. Thanks for watching.